we're 100% sure the election will be free, fair, and inclusive. The Commission is also establishing and activating the Election Monitoring and Support Center, EMSC. The EMSC has been established and activated to provide real-time monitoring of the electoral process. This center will enable the Commission to track developments across all polling units and registration areas and respond promptly to challenges and ensure timely decision-making. The deployment and testing of election technology, the Commission has configured and tested the bimodal voter accreditation system, the BVAS, to ensure the readiness of voter accreditation. These have been moved to the area councils and will be moved to the RATs, like I said, between 12 and 4 p.m. today. For the FCT area council election, INEC will be deploying additional collation officers to very large wards to make the collation process faster and more efficient. All ward and area council collation centers have been inspected, prepared to ensure smooth collation and declaration of results. The Commission wishes to assure all residents of the FCT that we are fully committed to conducting a credible election that reflects the will of the people. INEC remains guided by the principles of transparency, neutrality, and professionalism. We urge political parties, candidates, and supporters to conduct themselves peacefully and in accordance with the law. We also encourage all registered voters to come out on election day, exercise their civic responsibility, and contribute to strengthening our democracy. I wish to also remind voters that we have displayed the register of voters at the polling unit in the past 3 days. This is to ensure that you locate your polling unit before the date of election.
He pledged the Commission's commitment to leaving no stone unturned to ensure that the council election was free, fair, and credible, especially in hotspots area in Abuja. The FCT currently has 1,680,315 registered voters. He assured the voters that their vote will be counted and any hotspot area will be taken care of by the security agencies.
The flashpoints, you know, the police and even INEC security have worked out all these areas. And the police commissioner, if you have come to the stakeholders meeting, the police commissioner gave assurances about specific areas that we've identified. And incidentally, we have the map of the security mapping here in the hall. And the police promised massive deployment. And residents of the FCT can be reassured that their safety is of topmost importance. Well, the ad hoc staff, we are looking at about 11,873 PU officials. Then we have 282 supervisory presiding officers, that's the SPOs. We have 68 RAC managers. So there are other INEC staff also deployed, like we have 68 LGA supervisors, we have 208 RA and LGA team support staff, there's the technical staff that will look at the beavers and all. And then we have about 192 collation officers. So which brings us to the issue of the collation officers. You know that normal collation is that we have 62 RAs and then 6 LGAs or area councils. That makes it 68 collation officers. But the extra collation officers is to address wards that have large PUs. If you take Kwalimpa ward, for example, it has 199 polling units. If you ask one person to collect 199 polling units, you know how it's going to be. And you get delays and you get a lot of tension because the one person collecting 199 PUs. So what the commission did is to create efficiency. The commission decided that polling units will be grouped into groups of 40. So one collation officer will collect 40. And then the last collation officer in that ward will collect the group of 40s plus the remaining and declare.
Jimo Ogrima, reporting for in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Jimo. The chairmanship candidate of the African Democratic Congress ADC for the Abuja Municipal Area Council, Moses Paul, has in the meantime warned the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, that the will of voters must be respected in Saturday's council elections. Speaking to supporters in Abuja, Paul urged residents to remain resolute and confident in the electoral process. He also called on young people to turn out and vote, describing the election as an opportunity to reshape governance in the council.
In the meantime, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has ordered the strategic redeployment of divisional police officers across the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, ahead of Saturday's area council polls. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Mila Dantawaye, says the move is aimed at strengthening security and ensuring a peaceful voting process. The redeployment affects several divisions, with officers directed to assume their new posts immediately. Residents are urged to remain calm, vote responsibly, and report any suspicious activity.
We now move on to Rivers State, where the police command has announced the restriction of movement ahead of Saturday's by-election for Horda East State Constituency 2 and Kana State Constituency 2. The restriction will run from noon to 6 p.m. within and around the Horda East and Kana local government areas. Police say the measure is to ensure a peaceful and credible election. Security operatives will be deployed to strategic locations, polling units, and major roads to prevent violence and electoral malpractice. Residents are advised to comply with the directive, avoid unnecessary gatherings near polling units, and report suspicious activity. The Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Adekmoju, warned that violators will be arrested and prosecuted. The command assured voters of adequate security throughout the exercise.
Still electoral matters, the All Progressives Congress Screening Committee in Lagos State has screened over 540 candidates for local government offices across 20 local government areas. Speaking after a party stakeholders meeting in Ikeja, the committee chairman, Nunji Salama, said they are ready for a smooth, rancor-free Congress. Salama added that 27 executives will emerge in each local government area. State APC Chairman Pastor Cornelius Ojelabi praised the committee, calling the exercise vital for deepening democracy and strengthening the party.
In another development, the Department of State Services has fixed February 25 for the arraignment of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai before the Federal High Court in Abuja over alleged cybercrime and breach of national security. The case assigned to Justice Joyce Abdul Malik by the Chief Judge, Justice John Soho, is scheduled for hearing on that date. The DSS filed a 3-count charge accusing El-Rufai of unlawfully intercepting the telephone lines of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. According to the charge, El-Rufai allegedly admitted during the February 13 appearance on Arise TV's primetime program that he and others intercepted the NSA's communications. He was also accused of associating with another individual involved in the act without reporting it to authorities. During the interview, the former governor claimed he overheard Ribadu directing security operators to detain him, linking it to an alleged attempted arrest at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport on February 12. El-Rufai was later granted administrative bail after being questioned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over an alleged 432 billion naira fraud case. Shortly after his release, he was rearrested by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission in connection with ongoing investigations. The agency declined to state how long he would remain in custody.
Well, switching some gears now, the Chief of Defense Staff, General El-Rufai, has assured that the armed forces will remain proactive, adaptive, and decisively focused in tackling all threats to national peace and security. Speaking through the Defense Media Operations Director, Major General Michael Onoja, the CDS praised troops on the front lines for their sustained aggressive posture against terrorism and criminality nationwide. He commended their professionalism, adherence to rules of engagement, and respect for human rights and the rule of law. General El-Rufai reiterated the armed forces' commitment to protecting Nigeria's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and security.
The National Assembly has criticized the federal government for failing to adequately fund Nigeria's Livestock Ministry 2 years after it was created. During a budget discussion, Minister Idin Meha said that despite Nigeria's agricultural potential, 65% of the animals consumed annually are imported. He added that of the 70 billion naira approved as start-up funds in 2024, only 20 billion naira has been released. Lawmakers led by Senator Shehu Buba expressed surprise over the shortfall and urged President Bola Tinubu to ensure sufficient funding. Senate Whip Tahir Monguno said a lack of funds undermines the ministry's goal, while Senator Abdul Ningi suggested possible sabotage may be delaying releases. The committee also recommended reducing dependence on a single product economy and pledged to secure adequate funding to support economic diversification.
Well, joining us virtually to analyze these stories is Ismail Oladari. He is a member of Take It Back movement. Ismail, it's good to have you join us again.
Yeah, good evening in the studio. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome aboard. So President Bola Tinubu has urged voters, security agencies, and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to act responsibly during Saturday's polls in the FCT, Rivers, and Kano states, talking about the municipal elections, upcoming one. In the FCT, it's the 21st of February, right? And we saw that a PDP chairmanship candidate stepped down for the APC candidate in one of the local government areas in Abuja after the FCT minister intervened. But hey, holistically, what are your permutations as the local government elections comes up in a couple of days?
Yeah, thank you. The major cruise is the fact that the municipal election is solely in the hands of Wike as we speak, because for the past 2-3 weeks, everything that has been happening around the election in Abuja is pointing towards that fact. First of all, we have our own party contesting in the election as well. That's African Action Congress, AAC. And we have our candidates representing Kwali Ward, who has, come out 2 weeks ago, and as a matter of fact, some days ago, to indict the INEC for sabotaging their efforts to get voters' card for their members, even for one of the candidates in the Kwali ward of the state, the FCT. And what they do is they intentionally sabotage your effort to collect your voters' card, even to a candidate. As at 48 hours ago, he was still making a video posting online that is yet to collect his voters card. And this is a candidate. How much more other voters? And, this is not happening with the APC candidates. They can easily access their own card. And this has been going on for weeks, which we've been reporting in the media all the while. Secondly, if you recall, about 2 weeks ago, the FCT made a bold statement on national television that he will not allow, and he was referring to the election tomorrow, that he will not allow certain people to gain power in Abuja. I mean, who are you to even utter such words? You are not the electoral commissioner. You are not you don't have that capacity to determine who and who become elected in the municipal election tomorrow. But it is pointing to the fact that they've subjugated the people of Abuja to their whims and caprices, and they predetermined what the outcome of the election tomorrow will be. And this is the reason why they make both utter such statements in the public. And it's also a testament to that fact when a so-called PDP candidate is stepping down for an APC candidate. I mean, I don't remember the last time you heard of such things happening in local elections, where a major party is stepping down for another major party, right? So all these are pointing to one thing, which is the fact that the FCT minister is sabotaging the election tomorrow already, and this is a fact.
Okay, the Federal Capital Territory Resident Electoral Commissioner says the INEC, they are ready to conduct a free, fair, and credible council election. And some persons have actually said that this is going to be like a litmus test for INEC, actually considering the newly passed law. So do you think INEC is actually ready to give us free, fair elections in Abuja tomorrow, and of course in Rivers and Kano?
I make bold to say that INEC is not ready, not in Abuja, not in Rivers, and not in the 2027 general election. INEC are not ready at all, and they are constantly showing that they are not ready. I mean, I just made an instance of how it is difficult for people to get their voter's card. I mean, this is just a voter's card, right? If INEC cannot make a collection of voters' card as simple as it gets, so how much more an election? So we don't have that belief in INEC to deliver a credible election tomorrow. And I'm very sure we'll come back to this studio tomorrow evening to, allude to all these facts. Everything will happen tomorrow because we have our media that will be covering the election throughout tomorrow. And, all of this will, be made public by tomorrow. So we don't believe INEC is capable of delivering any credible election tomorrow, regardless of whatever they are saying in the media. Every fact is pointing to that fact that they can't deliver any credible election, not in Abuja, not in Rivers State, and not in the general election come 2027.
Well, Ismail, fingers crossed for eyewitness accounts from yourself and other election observers come tomorrow and probably the day after tomorrow. But let's turn to another story we've been following, right? The Department of State Services has fixed February 25 for the arraignment of former Kaduna State Governor El-Rufai before the Federal High Court in Abuja over alleged cybercrime and breach of national security. Remember that the EFCC had invited him prior to this. Once he was released, the ICPC was right at the gate of the EFCC headquarters waiting to pick him up. He's still cooling his fate in the ICPC custody, and now the DSS is announcing an arraignment on the 25th of February. That's just some days from now. What do you make of all of this?
Two-way. The first thing is that we've called on the DSS, the ICPC, the EFCC to make sure that in whatever investigation they are doing, they should make sure that his fundamental rights are protected and he is not detained arbitrarily. And it shouldn't look like a persecution, a political persecution. They should do everything during this investigation within the ambit of the law. And this is our position.
But do you think this is
who the victim is?
Yeah, but do you think this is actually persecution? Do you think this is actually witch hunting because he's a member of the opposition party?
Yeah, this is the second part I want to talk about. I mean, we can give perspective, we can pontificate, but the fact remains that this is a family affair. I mean, just 2 years ago, El-Rufai was a member of the ruling party. I mean, he was even shortlisted to be a minister under this regime. But things went south. He went rogue. Now he's with the so-called opposition party, ADC. And, his trouble started. And, this is like this has repeated itself in our political space over and over again. Whenever a member of the party join the opposition, that's when their trouble with EFCC, ICPC, DSS starts, especially in this ruling class. So if anybody is saying that it is political persecution, they are not far from the truth, because this is what happened always. I mean, look at the instance of Yaya Bello, because Yaya Bello is part of the ruling class. All his EFCC case, we don't hear anything about them again, right? And I'm very sure that, they know how they play their game. If tomorrow El-Rufai move back to APC, you won't hear anything about all these cases again. And the reason why I also say that it is a family business and a family game is the fact that this same El-Rufai, for everything they've said he has done it. I mean, when he was the governor of Kaduna State, there are several cases of human rights abuses under his administration. It was under while he was in office that we were reporting the sudden disappearance of Daddy Yatta. Just some weeks ago, he was now telling us that it was not him, it was Ganduje. But he knew all of this for the past 5 years, and he was not saying anything. Now that he's in the opposition, he can speak. Everything he's saying, he knew all along. But he couldn't talk because he was with the opposition. Now the opposition too, they've forgiven him before. Now he's not with them. They can persecute him. So it is a family, and this is what they do. So because he's not with them, they are persecuting him. Because he's not with them again, he's exposing them. So everything he knew before now, he's not talking. So this is why I say it is a family affair, and whether he goes to jail or he doesn't go to jail is less of our worries, because we know that when he moved back to that ruling party, all his sins will be forgiven. So we actually have no headache with all these things, right? But our
Okay, let me come in. Let me come in here,
rights to be
Ismail.
respected.
You said that he's been persecuted, but on the other hand, you're saying he's actually exposing what he knows, or trying to say what he knows. But one of the things that one of the charges against him is the fact that he said he alluded to tapping, or some persons tapping the phone of the NSA. Don't you think that, how would you call that? That is actually not, would that be termed as persecution as well? Because it looks like he actually gave them reasons to actually to charge him with that.
Yeah, you see, like I said earlier, if tomorrow, as egregious as that is, tapping the conversation of the NSA, as egregious as that is, if tomorrow he declares support for this party again, they will stop prosecuting him. So this is the problem therein, right? So we actually don't have any issue with whatever is going on with them. And according to him, this is how they do. So they've been tapping people's conversation all along. He said it. This is what they do. So it is not new to them. So they shouldn't also be shocked that he's saying it. They've been doing that all along.
Well, Ismail, let me, before we let this matter go, you said that if he returns to the ruling party, his sins will be forgiven. Do you see that happening? Do you see it happening? Is it even likely that he's going to return to the APC? Is there likelihood of that happening?
With these characters, anything is possible. You might wake up tomorrow and El-Rufai has become back. I mean, within these 2 years, he has moved from APC to SDP, from SDP to ADC. So you don't know where he will be moving to tomorrow. That's their stock in trade. That's how they move. Because they are not backed by any ideologies. They just move with the tide. So anything can happen.
Okay, let's move to security matters now. General Olufemi Oluyede, who is the Chief of Defense Staff, has assured that the armed forces will remain proactive and adaptive and decisively focused in tackling all threats to national peace and security. But I want to ask you, do you actually align with this statement? Do you think that the military in Nigeria is more reactionary than being proactive?
Yeah, sorry, I think I lost you earlier.
Okay, I said that I said that the Chief of Defense Staff has come out to say and has assured that the armed forces will remain proactive, adaptive, and decisively focused in tackling all threats to national peace and security. And I'm asking you that, would you actually say, would that align with the statement, or would you say that no, that the military are more reactionary than being proactive in tackling security?
I mean, every single Nigerian knows that they are not proactive in any way. They are more reactionary, and even their reactions are very, very underwhelming. Their reaction to events are very, very underwhelming, and it's the reality on ground. If they are proactive as they say, the rate of terrorism, kidnapping, and all sorts of crime would not be as high as it is today. A proactive military will combat terrorism before it even happens, right? So, if we are saying you are killing, you are proactive, but on ground we are seeing something else, and it's also speaking to the fact that their reactions are always underwhelming, because whenever any terrorist incident happen, what we hear most of the time are statements, condemnations, uh, all sorts of press releases. So even their reactions are underwhelming. But as for proactiveness, they are far, far from that. Nothing proactive in this military.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next story now. So, the National Assembly has criticized the federal government for failing to adequately fund Nigeria's Livestock Ministry 2 years after it was created. 2 years. I don't know if you remember this, Ismail, when Nigerians were shocked when they heard that there was going to be the creation of a Livestock Ministry. But we hear that they're not doing too well because of lack of funds. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in 2018, 2019 during campaign, we actually made mention of this ministry as a necessity because of the prevalent herders and farmers clashes that was everywhere back then. And we're saying that we should have ranches across the country that would be monitored by government, and the Ministry of Government that would likely monitor that will definitely be the Livestock Ministry. But then they later create this ministry. But then what are they doing? The most important thing they should do was that ranching all over the country, because we are saying that not only would the ranches reduce the farmer herder clashes, the dung of cows can also be used as biogas that will generate electricity. And this is also one of the reasons why we say we must diversify our energy sources, right? So we can use the cow dung from our ranches as biogas. So these are, one of the detailed ideas we are pontificating and giving as far back as 6 years ago.
All right.
It's so sad that when this government try to do anything, they do it wrongly. It's very, very sad.
You see, ranching is the very popular thing to do because, I mean, it's not just applicable in Africa, it's applicable in the West as well. But you said yourself and your party proposed this idea. Is it a replication of the Ruga initiative that governors turned down during the late PMB and his VP, Professor Oshibajo's tenure? Is that what you and your party is proposing, a replication of the Ruga initiative?
No, not at all. Not at all.
What's the difference?
Ruga is quite different. It's quite different. So what we are saying is, we have millions of cows roaming from north to south every day, right? So instead of roaming around, instead of these herders moving all the way from the north to the south everywhere, they should create ranches for them. It might be regional, it might be state by state, where everybody who is into the business of into livestock business will have a space in these ranches, and every amenity facility and amenity needed to survive will be provided in these ranches, and people will always come there to buy their markets. They can they have all the 21st century amenities to even transport these livestock, right? So it is quite different from the Ruga they were proposing then. Very, very different.
All right.
So we were talking about 21st century ranches.
Before we let you go, have you heard of any of these ranches created in any of the states yet?
None at all. None at all. None at all.
All right. That's why we get to call it wraps, Ismail Oladari. Thank you so much for your very insightful analysis. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me tonight. Yeah. Have a lovely night.
Thank you. You're still watching News Hour on VOP TV. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Glad to have you back. Barely a week after a fire destroyed goods worth billions of naira at Singam Market, another blaze on Friday gutted over 100 stores at the Dakata small-scale industrial complex, also known as Fatima Christian and Recycling in Kano. The Kano State Fire Service confirmed the incident, estimating losses between 700 and 800 million naira. Preliminary reports suggest the fire was caused by children lighting a fire out there to keep warm. Firefighters quickly brought the blaze under control, deploying 4 engines to prevent further spread. The fire service has urged the public to exercise caution, avoid open flames in public and industrial areas, and take fire safety seriously.
Some politics now. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has dismissed rumors of an impeachment plot against his deputy, Olayide Adelami, calling them false. Concerns had been growing over alleged cracks between the governor and his deputy, with reports suggesting moves in the State House of Assembly to unseat Adelami. But speaking at the commissioning of the road in Akoko Southwest, Ayedatiwa denied any rift, saying the impeachment talk exists only in the imagination of political opponents trying to stir tension.
In another development, the National Orientation Agency has warned traders against hoarding and arbitrarily increasing the prices of essential food items during Ramadan and Lent. In a statement, the Director General of the agency, Lanre Isao Nilu, said reports indicate some marketers are deliberately withholding staple foods consumed during the fasting period, creating artificial scarcity and driving up prices. He described the practice as economically disruptive and morally indefensible, especially during a season that emphasizes compassion and sacrifice. The agency says hoarding fuels inflation and worsens hardship for families already facing difficult conditions. Isao Nilu urged trade associations and market unions to enforce discipline among members and work with regulators to ensure compliance with ethical standards. He also reaffirmed the agency's commitment to sustained sensitization campaigns nationwide to promote economic responsibility and national cohesion.
Over now to Edo, where the State Police Command has debunked a viral video claiming that 3 men found in the Ogboha Amedohan bush were brought from northern Nigeria for kidnapping. The command described the claim as false and capable of causing panic, stating that the men identified themselves as registered hunters. Police say investigations are ongoing to trace the source of the video. Our correspondent Rhoda Jane reports.
3 men found in the Ubowa bush were brought from the northern Nigeria for kidnapping, saying the men were apprehended on February 3, 2026 and told police they are registered hunters who had reported to the Ubowa division days earlier. The person who made the accusation confirmed that the men are not kidnappers, and residents in the area said they knew one of the men as a legitimate author supporting the police account.
My name is Occasion Oseve. I'm the chairman of Eastern Hunters Association. That video went there online show. That also all those Alusa when they do hunting. I know they hear their language. That's why I say whether not the people for Ugbo and I take them, carry them enter bush and apologize. Not be waiting. I think not be happy for the for Facebook. Apologize. Not be me send that video to her. This thing where they put for her. Not be waiting. I talk. Not be they put for her. They not be kidnapper, they be hunter. Me no say that be kidnapper, they be hunter because I seen dog and one grass cutter when dog pieces. When my guys they beat them, I tell them say when they leave them, they be who that's it, they be hunter. I beg. When not be waiting I do, not be waiting I talk, not be they put for online. I beg. When I help him beg the DP of Ugbo. When I they ask them because they know they hear English. They speak when I ask them who bring them call here DPO for Ugbo, now so they talk. I can't hand over them for police. Today now I can let our people know say they be hunter, they are not be kidnapper.
Yes, I say Shaibu. Now hunter, now dog they take the car, they kill meat. And they follow them buy meat. Where we are from 4 years ago back, they follow them buy meat.
And what now?
If what now? And they follow them buy meat.
Monsale Kingsley.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm from Ubowa, Uzobon community.
Okay.
I was passing by when I was called to come to Ambush police station to come and check some of the kidnappers they hold in that place. On my way getting there, I now met Shaibu, which is a hunter that used dog to hunt. I've known him more than 7 years. I don't know him as a kidnapper. That's what I know about Shaibu. Because I used to buy meat from him. They used to use dog to kill meat. That's how I know Shaibu.
Police warned that the video is misleading and could cause panic, adding that investigations into its origin are ongoing, while Commissioner of Police Monday Agbonika urged the public to verify information before sharing on social media and said anyone spreading false reports threatening public peace would face persecution. Rhoda Johnny, VOP TV News.
Still in Edo State, the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development has held a forum in Benin City with traditional rulers, religious leaders, and women's groups to discuss health and rehabilitation programs for marginalized women. Correspondent Rhoda Journey again reports.
The Edo State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development held a town hall roundtable in Benin City aimed at restoring the dignity of forgotten women in the state. The event brought together traditional rulers, ministry officials, religious leaders, and women leaders to discuss health initiatives and rehabilitation programs for marginalized women. The Commissioner for Women Affairs delivered a keynote address and led an interactive session, allowing participants to ask questions and share insights.
I'm here to talk about the forgotten women of Edo State. These are the women in our rural corners, those living with disabilities, the elderly, and those displaced by circumstance for too long. They have lived in the shadows of our progress, but today we turn the light towards them. The project we flag off today, restoring the dignity of the forgotten women, is more than just a 2-year plan. It is a moral contract. Through this collaboration between the ministry and the Mobile Foundation for Health Security and Rehabilitation, we are committing to ensuring no woman suffers simply because she is out of reach, providing the tools for women to reclaim their economic and social independence, reminding every woman in Edo State that she is seen, she is valued, and she is protected by her governor.
The meeting concluded with goodwill messages from stakeholders and ministry representatives.
Our organization is not an office organization, we are mobile.
Okay. it is made for the community. So we go to the community. So in going to this community, we want to make sure, first and foremost, they say where there's no information, there is no power. We want to first and foremost start with informing, creating awareness of how these people can restore back that dignity. So in doing this, we're not just going to do it by saying, we want to also empower community, those,
Rhoda, thank you. On the foreign scene now, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has told member states of President Donald Trump's Board of Peace that there is no plan B in the ongoing ceasefire efforts in the Gaza Strip. Speaking at the board's inaugural meeting, Rubio warned that failure would mean a return to war, something no one wants. He said the only path forward is Plan A, rebuilding Gaza to ensure lasting peace, where people can live side by side without fear of conflict or destruction. The Board of Peace was established to support a peaceful settlement in Gaza and has since expanded to promote peacemaking worldwide, with more countries joining the initiative.
Still on the foreign scene, the United States Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs, ruling that his use of a national emergency law exceeded his authority. In a 6-3 decision authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, the court upheld a lower court's ruling, finding that International Emergency Economic Powers Act did not grant Trump the power to impose the tariffs. In dissent, Justices Brett Kavanaugh, Clarence Thomas, and Samuel Alito had said the decision does not necessarily prevent Trump from imposing similar tariffs under other laws and is unlikely to greatly limit presidential tariff powers going forward.
Well, in business news, Nigeria remains the third largest borrower from the World Bank's International Development Association, with total exposure rising to $18.7 billion at the end of 2025. The IDA report shows this up from $18.5 billion in September 2025. IDA provides low-interest loans and grants to low-income countries. Bangladesh leads the top 10 borrowers with $23 billion, followed by Pakistan at $19.4 billion. Nigeria ranks third ahead of Ethiopia and Tanzania at $14.1 billion each. Other countries in the top 10 include Kenya, $13.27 billion, India, $13.7 billion, Vietnam, $11.7 billion, Ghana, $7.5 billion, and Ukraine, $6.7 billion. Together, these 10 countries account for 60% of IDA's total exposure, highlighting the concentration of lending among a small group of borrowers.
Still talking business, the Debt Management Office says Nigeria's total public debt hit 153.29 trillion naira as of September 30, 2025. This is an increase of 900 billion naira or 0.59% from the 152.39 trillion naira recorded in June. According to the DMO, the debt includes both domestic and external loans of the federal and state government, as well as the FCT. Domestic debt stands at 81.81 trillion naira, which is $55.47 billion, while external debt totals 71.47 trillion naira, which is $48.46 billion. Debt owed by states and the FCT rose slightly from 3.96 trillion naira in June to 4 trillion naira in September. The rise in debt reflects the federal government's growing need for funds to finance infrastructure and meet large budget deficits.
Well, in sports news, three-time African champions Nigeria will take part in a four-nation invitational tournament in Amman, Jordan, next month. The tournament, featuring Iran, Jordan, and Costa Rica, aims to give teams high-level international experience. Ademola Olajire, Director of Communications at the Nigeria Football Federation, said the competition supports the Federation's technical development plans and will help the Super Eagles improve tactical adaptability and squad depth. Nigeria opens against Iran at Amman International Stadium on the 27th of March.
Moving on, Club Brugge midfielder Rafael Onyedika has been named in the UEFA Champions League Playoff Team of the Week. Onyedika, who scored and set up a goal in Wednesday's 3-3 draw with Atletico Madrid, earned the honor from Postcard.com. Also scoring in the match was the Super Eagles teammate Ademola Lookman.
In entertainment, Nollywood icon Joke Silva and filmmaker Joel Kachi Benson are teaming up to release Mothers of Chibok, a feature-length documentary that highlights the women fighting for the abducted girls of Chibok. In April 2014, Boko Haram kidnapped 276 students from the Government Girls Secondary School in Chibok, Borno State, sparking global outrage and the viral hashtag #BringBackOurGirls movement. A decade later, some girls have returned, but many remain missing. Rather than revisiting the abduction itself, the documentary focuses on the mothers left behind, capturing their daily struggle to work the land and raise funds for their children's education amid the ongoing threat of violence. Silva serves as executive producer alongside Benson, who also produced the 2019 virtual reality film Daughters of Chibok, which premiered at the Venice Film Festival. Mothers of Chibok is the second part of his powerful exploration of the tragedy.
Still in the world of entertainment, Eric Dane, the American actor best known for his role on Grey's Anatomy, has died at 53, nearly a year after revealing he had amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. ALS is a progressive fatal disease that destroys motor neurons, weakening muscles that affect movement, speech, swallowing, and breathing. Dane's family said he dedicated time after his diagnosis to advocacy and research for the condition. They described his loss as deeply painful, thanked the public for their support, and asked for privacy as they mourn. He's survived by his wife, actress and model, Rebecca Gayhart, and their 2 children.
May Eric's soul rest in peace. And that wraps it up for us on News Hub. But before we go, a quick look at the headlines. Tinubu calls for peaceful voting in FCT, Kano, and Rivers.
Also, INEC assures free and fair elections.
IGP boosts security and redeploys DPOs ahead of polls.
Police restricts movement ahead of Rivers by-elections.
DSS to arraign El-Rufai February 25 over NSA phone interception.
CDS vows continued action against security threats.
While on the foreign scene, ceasefire efforts, Board of Peace meets Rubio and warns against failure.
In business, Nigeria's IDA exposure hits $18.7 billion in December 2025.
Well, in sports news, Super Eagles are ready for Iran and Jordan tests.
And in the world of entertainment, Mothers of Chibok premieres February 27. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People Television. And on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness report, event coverage request, photos or videos directly via WhatsApp to 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Nana Ndomdioto.
And I am Vivian Oguche. Thank you for watching.
VOP TV, now You have more than a voice.
In a world where power shakes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.